And good afternoon, everybody. Today is September 12th. It is 1 p.m. Calling to order Board of Commissioners in our scheduled business meeting. We do have the full board present, Commissioners Hensley, Commissioner Minty, myself, Commissioner DeGroot. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll stand and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And then we'll move into public comment. We have one person signed up for a public comment. As a reminder, you have 2 minutes, and Commissioner Minty will keep the clock. And Alan Headley, you're up.
The first topic is the facts surrounding the suspension of the property tax collector, property code enforcement manager, property sales manager. I have been told by the county employees that these positions are all under one individual's management. We will look forward to any updates surrounding the individual suspension. The Freedom of Information Act can be used to further expose the truth behind the investigation. The people of Klamath County hope that county employees and elected officials live up to their own mission statement that reads, "We are committed to upholding the values and principles of honesty, fairness, courtesy, and respect in all interactions with the public. We are dedicated professionals that strive for teamwork and excellence in all corners of the office. We hope that the county's justice system does not turn into a two-tier justice system in which the constitutional rights are being trampled on. An individual is innocent until the facts of the case are proven and or denied." Dave mentioned housing as number 3 in his YouTube video on the county's strategic plan broadcast. My question is, why the city of Klamath Falls would change the goalpost on Daniel Martin's 80-plus housing tract authorized to be built in the county after it already had been okayed and blessed with the approval from the county and the city over the further improvements, especially after the Caseta press release in which it states national developers are taking notice of Klamath County housing shortages. What happened to Klamath County local housing developers? Ones like Daniel Martin, are they so easily kicked to the curb? Will the love of money or special interest groups win out? Another question is, why does the county give the city of Klamath Falls free taxpayer well water for the city to sell it back to the people? Where is the public trust here? For your economic package, Mr. Hensley, merit-based economic growth was stated best by JFK, who said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." This is merit-based economic growth that works the best. Does that stop?
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alan.
Anybody else wanting to make just regular public comment? With no others, move on to additions or deletions. Cindy, any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right. Minutes from our August 29th business meeting. How do those look to the board?
Good.
It's going to be a long day. Forgot my glasses, everyone, so just reading the headlines, and I'll get some help from my colleagues. Thank you both very much. Next up on the agenda, item 6.1, proclamation, and we will meet down.
Let Kelly read it.
I can't even see it, let alone read it. Here you go.
Dr. Calvert, we have that you're helping accept this.
And we're glad to see you, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You as
Hey, hi.
We'll stand there.
podium, so you can say a few words.
This is the matter of proclaiming September 18 through 22 as Falls Prevention Awareness Week in Klamath County. Whereas it is estimated 22% of county citizens are 65 years of age or older, whereas it is estimated 1/4 of people 65 and older will fall each year in the U.S., and 29% of older adults have fallen yearly in Oregon as of 2020. Whereas 1 of 5 falls causes a serious injury and can lead to depression, loss of mobility, and loss of functional independence. Whereas falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries among people 65 and older in Oregon, leading to 123.8 deaths per 100,000 in 2021. Whereas falls account for a 4-year average of 30% of injury-related emergency department visits in 59% of injury-related hospital visits in the county. And whereas the cost of fall-related hospitalizations for Oregon residents ages 65 and older was $553 million in 2018, whereas injuries from falls are largely a preventable community health problem, and evidence-based programs reduce falls by utilizing cost-effective strategies, whereas the Oregon Falls Prevention Coalition is working to increase awareness of this, promoting multidisciplinary strategies to prevent falls and encourage citizens to take steps to protect those that are at risk of falling. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the BOCC that September 18 through 22, 2023 is Falls Prevention Awareness Week, and we urge everyone to observe this week.
Thank you very much for doing that. It's very important for old people, of which I am one, to not try to, there are many things that can be done to prevent falls, things around the house that you can do. So we'll try and get this word out to people so that we can do this. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate your work. All right. Moving on in our agenda, item 7.1, building department. Commissioner?
Good afternoon. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning. Afternoon.
Afternoon, I guess it is, isn't it? Yes, thank you. So I don't do these very often, so I'm not sure I'm doing it in correct order here, but we're here to, I'm here to request you accept bids on 3 vehicles for our fleet. Would you like me to expand?
Do you want to read the background into the record for us, and then I'll make the motion?
Okay, so the background is, we've, for the last couple of years, you know, we've had a hard time trying to purchase vehicles or whatever. We went through the Oregon buys or whatever, and they were unable to provide us, you know, just standard fleet vehicles as far as, you know, they have an established price or whatever, and to buy them. So we actually had to go to bid this year. I had it in my budget last year and couldn't find them, so we had to transfer it to this year's budget year. And so I sent out the bids, and we sent it out to like 7 different dealerships or whatever. Only received a handful of responses back, and only one with the qualifying vehicle that met the specifications that we need for our building department fleet.
Thank you. I move that the board approve the quote authorizing the purchase of 3 Toyota 4Runner midsize SUVs from Lithia Toyota of Klamath Falls, authorizing the building official to sign all documents. The fiscal impact is $43,174 for each. So that total fiscal impact is $129,522 from the Building Vehicle Reserve Fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions, discussion?
I do have a question, Mr. Brown. I seconded it just to get the conversation started. Are these 4-wheel drive vehicles?
They are correct.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah, we're on a lot of undeveloped roads, and
They were 2-wheel drives.
yeah, no sir.
All right. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Good job, Alan.
Moving on to item 8.1, resolution. This is the lying and camping. You want to take that one?
Sure. So this is a resolution setting the 2 public hearing dates on proposed ordinance 96.0 relating to the use of public property for camping, lying, and sleeping. The background is the Board of County Commissioners recognizes the importance of maintaining safe and sanitary public areas while also ensuring that homeless individuals receive humane treatment, and believes it is in the best interest of the citizens of Klamath County to adopt an ordinance regarding the use of public property for camping, lying, and sleeping. The attached resolution sets the first hearing on the proposed ordinance for Tuesday, September 26th, 2023 at 1:15 p.m. and sets the second hearing for Tuesday, October 10th, 2023 at 1:15 p.m. I'll make a motion the Board of Klamath County Commissioners approves and signs the attached resolution and sets the two public hearing dates on proposed ordinance 96.0. There is no fiscal impact.
Second.
We have a motion and a second setting those two dates. Any further discussion? I'll save mine for when we actually have the hearings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Next up is the matter of appointing Melissa Sheen to the Midland Community Park District Board. The Midland Community Park District Board has vacancies. The above named applicant is willing, able, and eligible to serve a term on the board commencing this day and expiring June 30th, 2025. I would make a motion to approve and sign the attached order appointing Melissa Sheen to the Midland Community Park District Board. No fiscal impact.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
It's always a dance.
It is. This one's done in nice big bold letters, so I can actually see it. And thank you for that, Sandy. Any other discussion on that one? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. 9.2, can you take that one?
This is the matter of appointing Michael Long, Andrew Studley, Sally McLeod, and Mark Daniels to the Board of Property Tax Appeals, otherwise known as BOPTA. Pursuant to ORS 309.067, the BOCC appoints two pools of individuals to serve on BOPTA. Pursuant to ORS 309.020, the county clerk recommends Andrew Studley and Mike Long to Pool 1, governing bodies designee, and Mark Daniels to Pool 2, non-office holding residents. All individuals are eligible and willing to serve a term on the board commencing this day, continuing until June 30, 2024. They will complete the training for returning members provided by the State of Oregon Department of Revenue. I move that we approve and sign the attached order appointing Andrew Studley and Mike Long to Pool 1, governing bodies designees, and Sally McLeod and Mark Daniels to Pool 2, non-office holding residents. All terms are effective this day and ending June 30, 2024. No fiscal impact.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion. I would just thank these individuals. This is a very important task and the citizens' access point to voice disagreements with how their properties are assessed by the tax assessor. So one of those access points that I think are very, very important for the citizens.
Said.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Next is finance. She's excited.
To be first on the list. I'm here in the matter of approving and signing our weekly Klamath County Domestic Well Financial Assistant Grant Agreements. This week we only have one, Stephen and Charlotte May, in the amount of $2,809.50.
I'll make a motion that we approve and sign the Klamath County Domestic Well Financial Assistance Grant Agreements with the above recipients for a fiscal impact of $2,809.50 expenditure from Commissioner's Miscellaneous Grant Fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion on this item. Thank you for continuing that work. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you very much. Next up, 10.2 and 3 is the District Attorney's Office, and we have the fabulous Melina Johnson. Here.
One and only.
All right. Melina Johnson, DA's office. This is in the matter of approving Senior Assistant Attorney General John Castellino to sign the Specialty Court Grant Award Agreement for Mental Health Court. Specialty courts are designed to utilize a targeted team approach in handling certain criminal cases involving specific types of offenders. Klamath County has a long and successful history of using specialty courts to address the needs of mental health and drug court clients. The project goal is to provide an opportunity to address the client needs in a court forum in hopes to reduce recidivism. The project period is July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2025. And this funding pays for 0.5 FTE district attorney. So the county's paying 1.5 TDA out of the two.
Awesome.
I'm going to make a motion, and staff's going to love it because they might have to retype this, but this is the way it goes.
Oh no.
I'm going to make a motion. It says on here to approve the Senior Assistant Attorney General, but I like his other title better. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the acting Klamath County District Attorney, John Castellino, to sign the Specialty Court Grant award agreement for drug court. The fiscal impact is $165,388 revenue in the DA special enforcement budget. No general fund dollars will be used.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions for the wonderful Melinda Johnson?
Oh, okay.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes. Simple.
All right. So the next one is the specialty court awards, but this is for mental health court. The only difference is the amount is $120,972, and again, this pays for a 0.5 FTE deputy DA.
Going to make a motion that the board approve the acting Klamath County District Attorney John Castellino to sign the specialty court grant award agreement for mental health court. The fiscal impact is $120,972 revenue in the DA special enforcement budget. There is no general fund dollars that will be used.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion, questions on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good to
Have a
see
great
you.
day.
You too.
Next up, 10.4, Developmental Disability Services. Good afternoon, Director. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are all of you?
Fantastic.
Great.
I'm getting used to that
I'm
title.
excited for this.
It's settling in. Well, I'm coming before you today as really the final step for our work with the Klamath Falls City School District. We are hoping to help make improvements to their playgrounds for individuals who are experiencing intellectual and developmental disabilities. We'd like to contribute $50,000 to this project, and I have moved forward with the hold harmless agreement that was asked to be signed by the city schools, and Superintendent Brown has signed that. So really this is the last step for us to come before you so that I can work with finance to get them a check.
I move that we approve the waiver of liability and hold harmless agreement and authorize the DDS director to sign for DDS to contribute $50,000 to the Klamath Falls City School District. The cost, again, that fiscal impact of $50,000 expenditure paid out of the Developmental Disability Services Reserve Material and Services budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on this item.
I have a couple of questions,
Yep.
if you don't mind. I like this a lot. I am 100% behind this, but I just have a couple of questions about the scope of the project. We're looking to provide $50,000, but what's it going to take to actually complete the project? Is this just some financial help? Will this get us all the way to completion? Help me understand that piece.
That's a great question. I am not sure the actual final dollar amount that the city schools is pursuing to convert all of the playgrounds to be more accessible. I'm happy to get you that information, but my understanding is that the $50,000 would help to contribute so that all the elementary schools would have full accessibility to their playgrounds. Currently, all of them have chip material underneath the playgrounds, which does not provide accessibility for those in wheelchairs or with other mobility needs. So that's my understanding of the first step of the project is to essentially reinvigorate that aspect of the playground.
Again, I'm going to say it again. I think this is amazing, and I'm 100% supportive, but I actually want to see it get done. And here's my fear, and maybe you can make me not so fearful. If we contribute $50,000, but the entire project cost, I'm just making this number up, $250,000, and in a year the school district doesn't have the financial means to do it, what happens with our $50,000? Number one, and number two, are there timelines on that finish line? Because I really want to see this get done.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to get you those details after this meeting. However, what I do know is that the proposal that came before us, would that be all of the elementary schools would have these reinvigorations by the end of next summer. And we've also offered our staff support. If there's anything that we can do to help, whether there's a day or two to have staff go and help facilitate the project, we're willing to do that as well.
If you'll add me to that help list, I would greatly appreciate that.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Director, this is thrilling for me, right? We've been working on this concept of a swing in every park kind of, concept for better part of 5-6 years now, maybe longer. And this is a piece of that. There are many children, more than people would think, that experience intellectual and developmental disabilities within our community, and they have not had great access to playground equipment in our community. In fact, it's one of the areas where I think our community really has kind of dropped the ball, and we've now picked it up and we're trying to improve that. This helps a lot of those elementary schools. And by the way, elementary schools serve as the neighborhood schools for all of our kids, right? Those are the parks that they really go play in after school and on weekends and things like that. It's typically not city parks. It's typically not county parks. It's the school parks, because they're the ones that have the majority of the playground equipment. I mean, we have a couple throughout our community, but that's where the majority of it is. And it needs to have accessible equipment, and it needs to be flat accessible. And it's not just this, as you know, and the board is aware, there are a few other projects that we're working on to try to ensure that all of those playgrounds are accessible, that they all have accessible equipment, and that we're providing those same types of opportunities for kids that experience those disabilities as kids that are more typical. So again, thank you so much for this work. This is just getting started, and we're going to make sure that all of our playgrounds in our community have that same access. So great work.
Thank you so much. I look forward to us working on this continually.
Oh man, thank you. I'm jazzed about this. I want to get it done.
I want to get this done too.
All right, anything else? With nothing else, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
You too.
Next up, 10.5, Community Corrections. Dr. Hartman.
Sir?
Good afternoon. Aaron Hartman, Community Corrections. Klamath County Community Corrections and the Cove Community Partnership, otherwise known as Turtle Cove, have had a contract for Cove Community Partnership services for quite a number of years to provide gender-responsive services to my department. This amendment to the contract extends the contract from the date of signing until June 30th, 2024, with the option to extend for one additional year term.
I move that we approve the amendment with Cove Community Partnership Turtle Cove for gender responsive services with the fiscal impact of $119,700 from the Community Corrections Operating Fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion on this item. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Aaron, thank you very much. Appreciate all your hard work. And thanks for the tour the other day, by the way. There's a lot of great things happening in community corrections, and we'll be making some decisions on some properties coming up pretty quick. So great job.
And I'll have an announcement for the board probably in another few weeks about another opportunity. So,
Love it.
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Hello, Addie.
Hey, Ed.
Have a seat right over there.
So for those following along or watching, I'll introduce you to Addie. Addie is our junior commissioner and is working with the board and is just doing a fantastic job. So Addie, welcome. Moving on, item 10.6. Commissioner, will you take that? Public health.
Good
Director.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is in the matter of approving a contract between the American Program Bureau Incorporated and Klamath County Local Alcohol and Drug Planning Committee, LADPC. The Klamath County LADPC has a strong focus on providing community-wide and regional trainings to help professionals in the area gain skills to ensure effective service provision from prevention to recovery. This contract allows for Tonier Kane to come to Klamath County and speak at an upcoming summit. Tonier came from a lifetime of abuse and drug addiction to a career as a nationally known speaker and educator on the devastation of trauma and the hope of recovery. The purpose of this summit is to bring awareness around trauma-informed care and substance use. The summit will be open to all in Klamath County and may expand to our neighboring counties. This event will be a full day at the Oregon Institute of Technology in February of 2024. This work is being completed as part of the goals of LADPC and is within the approved budget.
Perfect. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the contract between American Program Bureau Incorporated and Klamath County Local Alcohol and Drug Planning Committee. Fiscal impact is $9,300 from LADPC Subdepartment 4030 and authorize the commission chair to sign.
Second.
We have a motion and a second discussion on this item. Questions for the director?
I would just add that historically, the LADPC hadn't actually budgeted for trainings. It had been a group had to apply for the funding and then it would be awarded. And so we went away from that and we just budgeted it in. And the LADPC board talked collaboratively and they said, we want to bring these trainings. And so one of the members really took the lead on this to make it happen. So just a little bit of background.
Thank you. That's great.
Anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Director, thank you so much. Next up, 10.7 and 10.8 are both with the sheriff. Good afternoon, Sheriff.
Good afternoon.
Sheriff?
Well, I'm here seeing if the county would be willing to enter into an intergovernmental agreement for funding, operation, and maintenance of a Tyler Technologies public safety software platform and program. Deep breath. In the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Klamath Falls, Klamath County, Klamath 911 Emergency Communication District, and Klamath County Fire District Number 1, the parties seek to establish and maintain a single, coordinated, integrated public safety system encompassing computer aid dispatch, a records management system, jail management system, and field mobile applications that enable the parties to share accurate and timely public safety information, increase operational efficiency, and facilitate information access. The parties have identified a third-party vendor, Tyler Technologies, LLC. The city as purchasing agent will enter into and administer a software-as-a-service contract with Tyler Technologies, LLC, for the benefit of all parties. The fiscal impact for initial implementation for the county will be $188,041, followed by an annual obligation of $142,739.58 over 5 years. These numbers represent Klamath County's portion of the whole agreement.
I've got a few questions on this, but I'm going to make the motion to get the conversation started. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve Klamath County and the Klamath County Commissioner Chair to enter into and sign the intergovernmental agreement to establish and maintain a single, coordinated, integrated public safety system encompassing computer-aided dispatch, a records management system, jail management system, and applications that enable accurate and timely public safety information. The fiscal impact is an initial implementation cost of $188,041 and an annual cost of $142,739.58 over 5 years. The funding source is yet to be determined.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's move into discussion on this item.
Let's just get to brass tacks, Sheriff. What happens if we don't? I think that's important that the community understands.
I think the community needs to understand, and I will speak for Klamath 911 Communications first, and they have a system in place that is no longer sustainable. In other words, they're not supported when they have glitches. I hear they have that quite a bit. It will stop, they'll reset it, they've figured out ways around it, but essentially the company they're with now does not support that any longer. So they are going to have to change. The issue came up as a group when the question was asked, if we change, if 911 changes, what is everybody else going to do? So we all, well, not all of us, the city police department and the sheriff's office and 911 all use the same provider. So our records management system, our jail management system is the same provider as 911. If they switch, there's going to be costs involved in that if we stay right where we are. If we switch with them, there's some significant discounts to the group, which I don't have the exact numbers, but they've all been negotiated. And so the feeling was, what's the best for Klamath County, the City of Klamath Falls, Fire District 1, and 911 Communications, and also some smaller agencies that will benefit from this as well, some of the smaller PDs and fire districts. And into the future, we felt like it would be best if we were all together, all working off the same system. And when you see the demonstrations that they put on and things like that, the ability for a police officer or deputy to communicate directly with 911 and then the fire district be able to see what we're doing or us being able to see what the fire district is doing and to track each other's movements, it's amazing. There's other software companies that can do that as well, but they've been vetted. 911 has been hosting these for a couple of years now, or other software folks have come in and showed us their product. This is the one that the group thinks is best for Klamath County. Hopefully I covered that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job. Let me make sure I understand this in layman's terms. So 911 is going to make a switch because they're driving a vehicle. Let's just put it in a simple analogy. They're driving a car that is no longer supported. So our 911 system is in essence compromised. So they have to make a switch with a company that will continue to support that system. If we don't change with them, we're going to continue operating this car that again is no longer going to be serviced for us. I'm making a really silly analogy, but we're going to have to pay an expense for that car to be able to communicate with 911.
Yes.
And in essence, it's going to fail someday anyway. So now it's the best time for us to make that switch with 911 as a group because of the steep discounts to do it now. We likely, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I heard we likely won't get a discount if we don't follow the team along and try to switch later. Is that true?
I believe that is true.
Yeah. Commissioner, I appreciate you doing the kind of that follow-up so that people can understand the reasons and the whys. I think it's important also to note, we've been talking about this since the beginning of the year, right? This is not new. It's coming in front of us today to kind of finalize that agreement and finish it up. But this is a lot of money and a very big deal. We talked about it through budget season. So if you go to the budget hearings, you'll hear us talking about it. We talked about it in a work session with all of those partners that the sheriff mentioned. We had 911 there, we had fire districts there, we had, of course, sheriff's office and the city police department. And I'm not sure if the other police departments from the outlying municipalities joined us. You'll have to forgive me, I decent memory, but I don't know if they were in the room. But anyway, everybody in our community in relationship to public safety has been working on this for a very, very long time. And it is a lot of money, but I do believe that this is the best route to make our public safety agencies as efficient as possible, keep them communicating together and that type of stuff. So.
And I think one of the things I'll point out is when we start talking about these yearly costs, the community needs to recognize that we have yearly costs right now for the system we currently use.
Yeah.
So those monies are going to get transferred to a new company. So this isn't in addition to what we're already spending. Yeah. So I think that's really important for everybody to understand as well. When you look at, I've moved on now, but what was it? $142,000 a year. We're already spending money on a system annually now. We're not going to spend that anymore, so that money can be used. So it's not as heavy of a lift as $142,000 when you look at it that way.
And I think I remember correctly that some of these funds for this initial year have already been set aside by the commissioners in another meeting.
Correct.
I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was more than half of it.
Correct.
We're in good shape. Any other discussion?
Thank you, Sheriff.
This is a big one to vote on. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Sheriff, thank you very much for that one. You have another one, 10.8.
I do. It's that time again to talk about our agreement with the Klamath County School District to provide school resource officers to these county schools. The Klamath County Sheriff's Office will provide 3 full-time equivalent school resource officers to Klamath County School District for the contract term of July 1st of this year through June 30th of 2025. The Sheriff's Office will provide all uniforms, equipment, and supervision of the armed SROs. The funding being provided by the Klamath County School District is estimated to be 2/3 of the cost of the SRO's wages and benefits, since their services are typically not being provided during various school break sessions. This is an agreement similar to this that's been in place for probably 9 or 10 years at least, I think. So every year we look at their budget, we look at our budget, we come to an agreement on the cost of services, and we have agreed that this would be what they'll pay.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the sheriff to enter into the SRO agreement effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th of 2025 between the Klamath County Sheriff's Office and the Klamath County School District for crime prevention, security, community support, and educational services from 3 school resource officers. The fiscal impact is revenue in the amount of $305,804 for each fiscal year 2023 through 2024 and 2024 through 2025 for a total revenue of $611,608 over the life of the agreement into the Sheriff's Office Patrol Division.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on this item.
I have a statement and then a question. First, my statement is this: the school resource officer program is amazing. I have 100% supported those positions through my tenure in law enforcement, and will continue to do so to the entire time I sit in the seat as a county commissioner. But Sheriff, my question is this: I've heard of locations around the country that are moving away from the school resource officer program, and for the life of me, I don't understand why. But I'm just curious your thoughts and the school district's thoughts on the longevity of that program moving into the future.
Well, I don't know if we've specifically discussed that. I know that in talking to the superintendent of the county schools, I mean, he's very supportive of this, and some of the school board members I've talked with, they are very supportive of this. I do not think that there's any movement in this area to do anything differently than what we've been doing.
Perfect. So I wanted you to say.
I also recognize that I've heard these comments about school districts elsewhere, and I worry for those school districts.
Thank you.
Well said. We have a motion on the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Sheriff, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Item 11.1.
This is the matter of approving a recommendation for a renewal liquor license for Rocky Point Resort, Sycan Store, Deer Heart Events, Gorman Dealers, AMA 18-Wheeler, AMA Mini Mart, AMA North, Homedale Mini Mart, Parkway Mini Mart, Schmaltz Chevron, Shieldcrest, Woe Tavern, Pilot Travel Center, Dollar General, The Alibi, Odessa, Palomino Deli and Mini Mart, Willie's Cheese and Wine, That Thing and Go, and Chevron Mini Mart. The OLCC verifies that each tavern or store has met the necessary conditions to sell liquor. The county's position is a recommendation only. The OLCC may take that into consideration before granting or refusing a license. This is noted for the record. The fiscal impact is revenue of $10 for each renewal license to the general fund commissioners.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And that wraps up our agenda, and we'll move into Commissioner reports. Who'd like to go first today?
I could go first.
Sure.
My report will be brief. I was asked by the governor's office to apply to be reappointed by to the state's Alcohol and Drug Policy Commission. Whether I would be willing to serve another term, I am. So the governor's office has passed my name along in a large group of names that will go in front of Oregon Senate for confirmation. So I guess wish me luck on that I get confirmed. And then the only other thing is an invitation for everyone. A week from tonight, our county building and planning and community development section of our county departments is holding sort of we don't have a really fancy name for it, but it's basically, I've been calling it Meet Your Friendly Building Official and Planning Department Night. It's an opportunity for anyone, but particularly those probably are most interested if they're in the building trade to just come and ask questions, ask about planning, ask about building, whether you're a citizen or whether you do it professionally. It will be from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Blue Building at the fairgrounds. There will be refreshment provided, and I really just encourage anyone who's ever had a question, regardless of how wild the question seems, that they just sort of wish they could ask in a non-formal environment of our building department or planning department or on site. Please come get together with us that night. It'll be a good time.
Thank you.
Turn my mic back on. You've heard me speak many times about the strategic plan, so I will tell you that we are really, really close to the finish line on the county's 5-year strategic plan. The second final draft has come out, and I think you guys received an email about that today. So we're going to put the final touches on that over the course of the next week and roll that out to the community next week. So I want to take a couple of minutes to thank everyone that participated in that process. I've said it a couple times. We had nearly 1,300 people from around the community involved in writing the county strategic plan. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody that took the time to participate and share your thoughts and opinions and express your desires for Klamath County into the future. The Eclipse, I've been spending a substantial amount of time as the commissioner's liaison to the MAC group. It's a multi-agency coordination group that is doing all the heavy lifting, getting us ready and preparing us for the annular solar eclipse that's coming up in October. To remind everybody, those dates are October 10th through the 15th. The eclipse is actually on October the 14th around 9:15 in the morning. We are anticipating upwards of 60,000 visitors into Klamath County for that week, with probably the most significant population and influx of visitors on Friday and Saturday. So I encourage all residents of Klamath County to be prepared and be patient. So get your fuel, get your groceries, get your staple goods the week before in anticipation of running low on some needed and necessary supplies. We also think there's going to be the potential for some hiccups in technology. So maybe have some cash in your pocket in case your debit card doesn't work or your Visa doesn't work because of cell phone tower shortages and lack of bandwidth on towers. But this is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime event, so we're encouraging everybody to have fun, get your glasses and enjoy the moment, but let's be prepared and let's be patient with the influx of visitors into Klamath County. And then on a personal side, I'll end with some really cool stuff. My family has had just an amazing couple of weeks, and I want to share some of that, if I can, without getting choked up. My middle daughter got married not last weekend, but the weekend before, and that was incredible. Very emotional to marry off one of your babies, but she was absolutely stunning and beautiful, and God bless them both. So I'll end with that.
Well said. And it was a beautiful wedding, I gotta say. So last week, a few different things. So first I will say, Commissioner, thank you for doing the work on the eclipse. I know it's important to the board. We're talking about it almost on a weekly basis. Those meetings are gonna start heating up a lot. What you bring to the table to help us get through this very significant event in our community hasn't gone unnoticed, and we all appreciate it. So thanks for that. With that also being said, last week was busy. First, I mentioned it when we were talking to Director Hartman with Community Corrections earlier, but we got an opportunity to go through and take a look at Project Homefront and see how that project has been developing. We have a few of the tiny homes that are going into the back portion of that property that have been delivered, so waiting on getting those set up and making sure that they have adequate utilities to each site, things like that, some improvements that need to be made. But those are well on their way. That property is significantly better than it was when we acquired it a couple of years ago, and I think we've made that property a better neighbor today than it was prior to that. We also took a tour of a couple of other properties that Community Corrections is no longer needs because of that other property, and neighborhoods that we were actually wanting to get them out of. So one of those properties will go up for sale most likely. That'll be something that comes to the board. And another one of those properties needs to be repurposed. And another thing that will come to the board and we'll discuss. But getting an opportunity to go through and walk through those properties and try to make recommendations to the board about their best and highest use, well, I appreciate that from Director Hartman. And then lastly, so my time as the president of the Association of Oregon Counties is starting to get closer to an end. That'll end in the second week of November. The association's president, I had an opportunity to try to bring people to Klamath for a conference. So we will fill up our hotels the end of this month and getting those agendas set, bringing commissioners and staff from all across the state and showing off Klamath a little bit is going to be fun. There's got to be a couple of perks for all the time that you put into really volunteering in that role to try to make county's voice both inside Oregon and nationally heard. So I've enjoyed that, and then the district meetings throughout the state obviously are taking up a lot of my time right now as I attend those. Last year I attended all of those in person. I was the incoming president. This year I'm able to attend them virtually, and it is much, much better. Last year I think I kissed my wife goodbye the 1st of September, and I said hello to her again like the second week of October, because I was gone for like 5 weeks. It was brutal, and I'm glad I don't have to do that again. But the Association's annual conference will be in November, and then I'll be able to hand over those reins. And so I want to say really quickly, it's been a great experience. I believe that the association did really, really strong work this year in the legislature. I think that the counties did really strong work nationally this year, and I was afforded that time because of yours to support. So Commissioner Minty, Commissioner Hensley, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do that and advocate for counties. And maybe showcase and fight for Klamath a little bit more. So, and with that, we will adjourn at 1:48.
Have a good day.